Good morning, 3:55 a.m. Just got back from the gym a little bit ago, doing my exercises I missed yesterday. But anyway, the title for today's video is Corporations Have No Actual Value. We live on a planet where everything has been turned inside out and upside down. People, real human beings, have been reduced to legal fictions, which is what corporations actually are. Fictions. Multinational corporations, however, have been deified in modern culture. Yes, if people would stop and actually think, corporations can do nothing, absolutely nothing, without people. How we got here is the biggest deception, probably of all time and all creation. To make matters worse, people have bought into the lie that corporations are all powerful, and people are only slaves at best, working for the fiction rather than the reality. What will it take for people to awaken from this nightmare? Many of us work toward that end, yet most still buy into the lies. I posted recently on Facebook an appropriate quotation by Edmund Burke. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The legal lie, what you resist persists, has made the New Age community impotent. When you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. The author of that is debated, but the reality is true. Indeed, nothing has frustrated me more than trying to get the truth out to people who have been brainwashed by a system that has totally inverted and turned everything around from actual created reality. Created reality does not mean organizations that we've created. It means flesh and blood, life force human beings. We have the life force energy, or the creative energy, or the God energy within us. Each of us have that. That's a given. That's a fact. And what the corporations have done is they've turned us into the fiction and taken our wealth. All of us. And you New Age people, you Unity people, you Science of Mind people, and I am part of that group. I want you to understand, I'm not pointing my finger at somebody that I've not been very heavily involved with. I am part of that. But you have swallowed a lie, hook, line, and sinker, that you don't have to do anything, that God's going to do everything. And we have to take action. God will work through us, and I believe God will work because of our efforts. God will actually bring things that we may not even recognize and understand to bear on the situation to help fix the world, because the world is broken, in case you haven't noticed. The world sucks. I mean, it's really, really in bad shape when you've got people having their homes threatened, people having their lives threatened, people having land taken away from them by corporations. And worse, you've got people that think that that are making their money and think that they're actually doing the right thing by becoming terrorists in America, in the United States. And it's happening not just in the United States, of course. It's been happening all over the world. The Muslim countries, it's been happening for a long time because they've tried to stand up for what is right. In many cases. Now, I'm not talking about the Saudi Arabian type of Islam, which has been totally distorted. I can't even remember what the word is for it. But that type of Islam, that's a militant Islam, that doesn't resonate with any peace-loving person. I'm sorry. It just can't and it won't. And they've been used by the United States, which is the warmongering nation of the world. We are the military arm of the demonic cabal that was founded in the Vatican and the City of London, and we are the ones that carry out the military orders. Now, of course, other countries have been involved as well, but the primary one has been the United States. Thank God for Russia. Russia actually has abilities beyond the abilities, beyond the military abilities of the United States. Thank God there's another nation on this planet that has invested in top science of weapons. Now, I don't like weapons, and I'm not pushing weapons, but that's the world that we've lived in, and I believe that Russia has some superior weapons to what the United States has, and I think that's why there hasn't been a World War III that's a bloody war conflict like World War II and World War I and previous wars. This is an economic war. This is a war of ideology. This is a war of the people against the corporation. And the people need to stand up to the corporations. Corporations are created to serve, not to rule. And you need to understand that. Every corporation that has a lawful charter is bound to serve the highest good. They're bound to tell the truth. They're bound to live by certain principles. Now, of course, that's been totally distorted, totally been wiped out by corporations like the United States of America, Inc., like the state of Florida, Inc., like the city of Melbourne, Inc. These inks have to be, the government inks have to be totally eliminated because there should never be a corporatization of any government agency, because they're not serving the people. They're serving the people that own the corporations. And yes, the United States of America, Inc. is owned by individual people for profit. And as I've said in other videos, they are able, with the banking system that they've created, to loan, or to create rather, out of thin air, 10 times, lawfully, 10 times the amount that they actually have. In other words, if they have $1 billion, they can multiply that to $10 billion. 9 billion of which doesn't exist, except they just created it out of nothing. Out of nothing. But they haven't even abided by the 9 and 1 rule. I mean, in the late 20th century and early 21st century, those rules went to hell. And I mean, it might be 15 or 20 times that they've multiplied and created money out of nothing. Out of nothing. Out of thin air. Has no actual value. Corporations did this. Microsoft Corporation. I mean, Bill Gates, and I have Microsoft, and I have friends that say you gotta go to another corporation, you gotta go to Apple, or whatever. It's still corporations. Corporations have to go. I'm telling you, they do not serve a good that serves humanity. And if they don't serve humanity, they are useless. They are not only useless, they are detrimental. And the corporations that have been formed throughout the world in the false New World Order, those corporations are the pariah of the earth itself. They're the pariah of life. They're the pariah of human existence. And we need to wake up, and we need to stand up. No longer hiding behind the ideology of what you resist persists. That's insane. That is insane in the physical world that we live in. It only has meaning. The only meaning of what you resist persists is if you are resisting the voice of God in your life. Eventually that voice of God is going to get louder, and you're going to pay a price for resisting it. That's what you resist persists really comes from. When it comes to business, when it comes to government, when it comes to things, what you resist persists is bullshit. I'm sorry, that's what it is. It's crazy, it's insanity, it should not be allowed to continue, and it won't be when enough of us wake up and say no more. And that's the point that we have to come to. We have to say no more to these crooked corporations that have stolen our human heritage. Thank you very much for listening, and namaste.